figures are all illegitimate initiations. Unfortunately, yes, that perception is prevalent because that practice is becoming prevalent and has been. And it's just getting worse. It's not dying down. The more popular these traditions get with the people, the more charlatans you're going to have, coming in and taking advantage of unsuspecting people. Okay, so I know someone that once told me that they paid a 5-figure fee for an initiation, so they didn't have a problem as a priest of a certain tradition turning around and charging someone else, initiation fee in that same range, but they attach like a few more thousand, dollars to theirs because they claim their initiation was a long time ago, so they felt justified in raising the price. For example, they said theirs cost 10 grand, so they figured they could charge 15, for theirs, and it's just red flag, okay? And again, I'm not saying that everybody who charges that much is fake, but more often than not, red flag, okay? If something doesn't sit well with you, you have every right to ask questions, okay? Because there are people out here with made-up lineages professing to be priests. They're all over Facebook. They're all over YouTube. They're all up in these, message boards and groups trying to take advantage of the ignorant and the unlearned and the unsavvy, okay? You've got to know who you're dealing with, and you've got to figure out who vouches for these individuals. Okay, ask them for the names of their initiating godparents. Okay, ask them, if they're talking about something that comes from a specific place, you say, hey, I know somebody that comes from there, or I have family members that come from there, I need to talk to them first. Okay, and just see how they react when you say something like that. Ask them for references, okay? And a common story with a lot of these fakes and charlatans, oh, my godparents are deceased. That's like one of the common reasons that they will come back to you with if you ask. So they make sure that there is absolutely no way that you can find out that they are coming from something fake and made up. Okay, they always throw something, oh, they're dead. So there's that. Even in the cases where a legitimate priest or priestess has deceased godparents, there are other people with seniority in their tradition who have no problem vouching for them, because people who are legitimate don't like that there are illegitimate people out there doing this to their tradition. They love their traditions. They're passionate about their spirits. They're passionate about the ancestors, and nothing angers them and displeases them more than to see folks out there trying to fleece everybody, because this is what's sexy on the streets now. Whenever something gets popular, some chucklehead tries to find a way to bank on it. Okay? And they do, unfortunately. Lots of folks get taken advantage of in this way. So people who are in fact legitimate, people who've been practicing these traditions for decades, have no problem vouching for someone who is legitimate. Now, when people have to shroud themselves in secrecy and they say they can't reveal this name and they can't say that name and they can't do that, that's a red flag. Because people who live this life, okay, who are bringing up children in this tradition, who live in communities that practice this tradition, they don't have a problem keeping this secret, okay, as far as identifying who someone is and vouching for someone. So keep that in mind as you go forward on your path, if it involves the African religions and African diaspora traditions. Now, there's a prevalent notion out there that hoodoo, root work, and conjure doesn't fit in the ATR, under the ATR umbrella. I disagree with that. The only reason they say that is because they claim it is an initiatory, and I disagree with that too. Initiation is by birth. Okay? These are family traditions that have been fragmented in this country due to slavery, due to racism, due to segregation, Jim Crow, okay, and then due to the migration north. All right, there's a lot of reasons and a lot of basis for why our traditions got so lost and so fragmented in the past. But certain elements of the traditions have remained, and workers are still here. You're just not going to find a lot of the legit ones on the internet. Okay, a lot of black folks all over this country, and mainly in the southern regions of this country, are still practicing and are still teaching the traditions to the next generation, but they're just not on the internet. And a lot of folks are, lulled into believing they just don't exist anymore. So you have all these, people outside of the black culture, outside of the black community, picking up the helm, so to speak, thinking that, they're going to reestablish this tradition, and now they're opening it up for non-black folks to come in and call themselves root workers and hoodoo doctors and root doctors and hoodoo witches. I push back strongly on this notion. Okay, and now I've gone into a little bit more detail about this in other episodes, and I will go into more detail about this in upcoming episodes. But let me just make this very clear. If you are a white person, or you interface with a white person who claims to be a hoodoo practitioner, a root worker, a conjure man or a woman, and they learned what they learned from another white person or their mythical grandmothers, okay? They claim they learned it from their grandmothers, but the things that they're talking about can all be traced back to Lucky Mojo's website or the Lucky Mojo podcast, or, anything dealing with, the white version of hoodoo. Then they're just pulling your leg, okay? If you want to know the real hoodoo, as it's done by black folks, as it's been done by the ancestors who brought it here from Congo, Angola, you need to talk to your elders, okay? Talk to the old folks. Talk to folks that are in their 80s or older. They will give you something to work with, I guarantee it. Talk to the members of your own family, because our traditions are still alive in our cultures. We just didn't slap that label on them. Okay? And again, I have spoken about these at length on my social media and in previous podcasts as well. Okay? There are just certain things that we do as black folks that all fall under that thing, root work, conjure, hoodoo. All right? It's already a part of us. And we are initiated by virtue of birth, being born black in America. Don't let anybody tell you different. Okay? Unfortunately, however, on the internet, on social media, our traditions are overwhelmingly infiltrated by white people. Okay? And they really want to be taken seriously with this work. But let me just tell you right now, these are ancestral things that require ancestral keys to unlock certain doors. I go into greater detail in my writing, okay, with the book that I'm working on. But just know that truth as you go forward and learning certain things about how you can make certain things work for you in your day-to-day. Okay? The ancestral element to this is very strong, but you don't see outsiders to our community or our group, our race, speaking to that. Not really. I mean, some of them are now picking up on it because they heard other people saying it, okay? So now they're just now getting hit, but what they're doing is borrowing our ancestors, okay? They're sort of adopting our ancestors. Like everybody wants to adopt, Mother Marie Laveau. Everybody wants to adopt Aunt Caroline Dye. Everybody wants to adopt, Sandy Jenkins and other, conjure doctors and root workers of the past. You don't ever see them, talking about the ones that are alive because they don't know them. And 9 times out of 10, if they showed up on these elders' doorsteps, they would be in for a rude awakening, because that elder would look at them like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Get on away from here. Take your ass on. I ain't got nothing for you. Okay? That's not how they get down. Okay? Your own family member might even say this to you when you try to ask certain questions. I've seen that happen before too. Okay? My husband's auntie, may she rest. Okay? She was a very powerful two-handed worker. But it was like pulling teeth trying to get her to open up to me about it. Okay, she had her reasons, God love her. But I can tell you right now, her spirit, chatty as all get out. I digress. But anyway, it's just really funny to me how, these non-black people who are claiming to be conjure doctors and root workers in the black tradition have no problem claiming our ancestral spirits. But when it comes to interfacing with our elders who are yet to be or to become our ancestors, they're nowhere to be found. You don't see them talking to no black folks. So let that be a red flag for another pitfall to avoid as you go forward in learning about these traditions for yourself. Now, there are probably several others that aren't really coming to mind. Like I said, I do these things sort of off the cuff as they come to me. So I don't have anything written or prepared. I don't make outlines really for these podcasts. So I'm pretty sure that there are other pitfalls and traps and things and red flags. They're just not coming to my mind at the moment. But if you know of any, reach out and let me know, and I'll mention them on an upcoming episode. Okay? So, because I believe that sharing is caring. And with what's going on in our world today, we need to, as black people, embrace our legacy, our spiritual legacy. Okay? To me, it's just not enough to be black and throw the black power fist up in the air and then call yourself an atheist, or be disgruntled with the Christian church and whatever, or Christianity and other ideologies, but be so unwilling to learn about the spiritual power that you have flowing through your very blood. Okay? We got to stop being afraid of our own people. If you can tell me that you're not afraid of your own people that you live amongst, then likewise you should not be afraid of the spirits of your own people, the ones responsible for you existing in this realm in the first place. So on that note, I wish you all love, peace, and powerful juju. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend. Until next time, everybody.